What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of This One, That One, or Something Else. And I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thanks for tuning in once again. So episode 2, I thought I'd delve into the breakfast world because I think we get our breakfast ideas majorly screwed up, and I thought I'd jump into that one since I have some pretty controversial ideas on breakfast. We'll talk about that later on. But this way, I thought I'd look at something pretty simple that people have. Muesli. I love toasted muesli. It's a go-to for me post-meal, post-workout I should say, a lot of the time. And of course, any kind of sugary type breakfast that we all get demonized again about. Cocoa Pops, you could have gone for Fruit Loops, you could have gone for Crunchy Nut Cornflakes, you could have gone for Frosties, any of those ones. But let's kind of compare something, I guess, again, that we consider healthy option and something that we've demonized and considered the unhealthy option. I knew I wouldn't be too confused about or kind of too surprised about what the total numbers would be coming out. But the sheer quantity is what kind of surprised me, and what they consider to be a portion size, I really considered to be just completely out there. So let's jump in straight away and let's get into this. Muesli or Cocoa Pops. I've poured out a portion. Now, this is what they consider to be a portion. Look at that. That is a 50 gram serving of muesli, and that's what they consider a portion. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know a single person on the planet that kind of only eats that amount of muesli, and then that is 220 calories just in that small bowl there alone. So what I went and did is poured out what I would usually have as a portion for me, and that's what I've gone from there. So that's about, what have I got, 170 grams there as a serving for me. And then what really surprised me is I then went and poured out the same amount in Cocoa Pops, and there's that portion there in that one there, and that's what really took me by, because I could easily go through that, but if I poured a bowl like that, I would consider that's far too much. So obviously, because that's just fluffed rice with a kind of chocolate coating, that's where obviously it's quite light, whereas this is full of kind of raisins and seeds and obviously rolled oats and dried fruit and things like that. But that really surprised me there. And let's just compare these two here, just as a pure side by side. That's a portion that I would usually have, and that's what the kind of same amount's come up. And if we look at that with a serving of milk, now I've just gone 250 mils, a cup of milk. That one there has 871 calories. That one there has 852 calories. Now, your main difference is going to come from the fact that this one here has much higher protein, higher fats, but coming from your seeds and things like that, so that's all right. And this one's basically just pure sugar. So this one here, fat 13 grams, carbohydrates 160 grams in that one, and protein only 17 grams. This one here, you're looking at fats of 33 grams, which is not too bad. Carbs only 82 grams, and protein of 20 grams. But if you add the milk into that, you get then 28 grams of protein, 94 carbs, and 42 fat. So when we kind of compare them, as I did in episode 1, calorie for calorie, which is the top one that we want to look at if we're looking at a calorie deficit, and you can make it all work into your kind of macros and your daily kind of consumption. This one here, 871 calories with a serving of milk. This one here, 852 calories. So they're about basically the same. Yes, you're going to get more protein in this serving here, and you're going to have less carbohydrates in it, so you can play around with the carbohydrates later in the day, be that potatoes or be that bread or cereals or something like pasta or things like that. But face value, we're looking basically about the same amount of calories, but then if you look at this as a serving suggestion and you pour yourself what you would normally consider a serving size, that's kind of, a half a bowl, kind of, quarter to a half a bowl, that there is overflowing. So I don't think you'd ever pour that amount for a serving size of your Cocoa Pops, and that's actually almost half the bowl. That's a 375 gram box. That's 170 grams there, so it's 340. It's basically half the box. You're not going to eat half the box. You're probably going to eat half of that. And so if you look at it as kind of what you would pour yourself into a bowl, you're actually going to have far less calories in a bowl of Cocoa Pops than you will in a bowl of cereal or kind of toasted muesli that I've got there. So face value, guys, these serving for serving, basically exactly the same calories. Sure, you got more carbohydrates. Yes, you got more protein. So protein, the benefits of having protein, obviously, especially post-meal. Carbohydrates, very important post-meal anyway. But if you have that with some with some milk in it, that's not a bad kind of meal to go to. And yet we demonize that day in, day out, tell our kids that that's feral stuff to go near because it's full of sugar. Yes, you're correct, but on the face, calories in, calories out, they're exactly the same here, guys, and yet we sit there and say that this stuff here is healthy and this stuff is bad. Now, on the flip side, we're looking at something else. Me personally, my controversial kind of appeal, and I'm writing a book at the moment about all of this, the whole breakfast eating world, I don't do it. And it's a kind of the intermittent fasting world, and I get away from saying I don't have breakfast because it gets kind of shut down very quickly. Oh, you don't have breakfast? Of course I have breakfast, because breaking my fast 2 o'clock in the afternoon as opposed to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whenever you kind of normally have it in the morning. So if it's a training day, that's what I usually break my fast with, but it's around about 2 o'clock. So I usually have a fast of around about 17 hours, and then I get most of my food within a kind of 6-hour period through there. A lot of research going into it, these guys, made famous by Michael Mosley. He did the 5 and 2 diet that you kind of probably saw maybe on ABC or SBS or whatever the one was. But they're now coming out with a lot of research showing that a kind of extended fast, be it kind of 14 to 18 hours, has the exact same benefits as that 5 and 2, but you get to eat every day rather than having a fasting day of kind of 400 or 500 calories and then your regular day. Me personally, I couldn't possibly think about living on 400 calories for a day. I live a very active lifestyle. And so that would be quite difficult for me. However, having a day where, or every single day where I eat the same amount of food, I just push that fast out. That fast period though has been shown to have some major benefits to it. Increase in growth hormone, increase in insulin sensitivity. So when you do actually turn around and eat, you've actually gone around these kind of phases and had some major benefits. If you can then exercise in that fasted state, again, there's some huge benefits to that in kind of, I guess, your proportion of what you're going to use as your fuel source. Fats get shunted because you start using up all of your glycogen stores, liver glycogen, muscle glycogen, have all basically depleted post 12 to 14 hours. So your body will start using fat as a fuel source, and then you exercise on top of that. Your body just becomes this burning kind of engine of fat stores rather than carbohydrate stores, which you're going to put in yourself in the breakfast. So I don't want to delve into that too far. If you want to learn more about that, hit it up in the comments and let me know, and I'm more than happy to kind of talk more about that. I've got a book coming out, well, as soon as I can. I'm still writing that. That's going to be called Start Late, Stay Light. It's going to go much more into detail and give you kind of, I guess, a plan moving forward on kind of how to use that for the rest of your life. I've been doing it for over a year now, and it's kind of changed the way I look at food and how I go, and this is how I kind of came around this whole scenario. Guys like Mike Vacanti, Grego Gallagher, and those kind of guys, what's his name, Brandon Carter, all kind of in the fitness kind of industry on YouTube. Go and check them out. I might even put their links in below. But those guys, especially Mike Vacanti, I've been following him for years, and he changed the way I look at food. And he does a series much similar to this kind of series called Equals on Alternatives. And I definitely suggest if you want to go look at some great videos, go and check him out. But I'm doing my own versions of them on, I guess, Australian-based foods that you're going to see on our shelves. And today we looked at breakfast, and we talked a bit about not looking at eating breakfast and prolonging that and kind of helping out with your calorie deficit. But as I said, hit up the comments, tell me if you want to learn more about that, because I'll do more videos on that for you as well. But I hope this one has helped, guys. Kind of, I guess, shedding a light on the breakfast world. Muesli, Cocoa Pops, they're exactly the same. My other one would be just don't have breakfast at all and go into your lunchtime at 2 o'clock anyway. So, been another episode of this one, that one, or something else. Hit that like button for me, share the video, get it out there. I want to help as many people as I can. Hit that subscribe button for much more to come, and I'll see you next time. Stay healthy, stay happy. See you then. Ciao.